All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I have an interesting video for you guys. Now, I was thinking about this all day, and I was looking because there's a lot of people are always complaining about the price of GPUs and stuff like that. And you know, I look at this, like I put the 5060 Ti back in. This is the 5070 Ti. So the 5070 Ti retails for this particular model, the Asus Prime OC. This one here retailed for $939. You can still find it for about that much, so roughly $1,000. Okay, and I was looking at this in a way that, should you upgrade your GPU every generation, and does that make sense, and is that even considered to be affordable at all at current prices for GPUs? Because we're looking at a 70 class card running for $1,000. And the thing that sparked this the most is because since I'm a YouTuber and I get access to, you know, each generation. I've had access to all three generations since I've started PC gaming, from the 30 series, 40 series, 50 series, and talking about the upgrades and just how technology moves forward. So I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the three generations and my experience with those. So I started on the 30 series. I started with a 3060 Ti, then I went straight to a 3080. So essentially putting myself in an 80 class. And so as the next generation went by, so I used the 30 series, probably I think I got a year into that generation, so about a year. Okay, so obviously I'd already upgraded from a 60 class to an 80 class because I just didn't feel like the 60 class was delivering the experience that I needed. So I bumped myself up. And a lot of this is going to go off, you know, like your income too. I've worked a bunch of that out. We're going to get into all of that to see if this is even a feasible idea, and then even give you an idea of how you could make this happen and make it work so that you can progress. So 30 series wasn't bad. That was my first experience into the into PC gaming. Started with NVIDIA, obviously. Here we are 3 generations later, still rocking an NVIDIA GPU. I have AMD is actually my main source of gaming now. That's where I do everything. But so I started with the 30 series, and then I ended up with a 40 series. I got the 4070 Super. Well, actually, I bought a 4070 first, then I bought a 4070 Super, then I bought a 4080 Super. Quickly getting myself right back up to the to the 80 series fairly quickly. And that generation was pretty good. Gen on gen, we got a pretty decent upgrade. Like the 4080 Super absolutely destroyed the 3080 in terms of like being able to game and do all of that. And now here we are with the Blackwell series on a 5070 Ti. So the 5070 Ti, I'm back into a 70 class at $1,000, and this GPU absolutely gives me the experience that a 4080 Super would. Now, if you look at that, 3 GPU generations, if I would have stayed at the 80 class, because I feel like that $1,000 range is about where I am. And the way I got to that point is you literally take your monthly income, or no, not monthly income, weekly income. This was the way I did it. It was weekly income, and then you put yourself, so each generation is 2 years. So you get yourself, you know, you spend 1 week out of the 104 weeks on your GPU. Okay. I know this sounds a lot, but I mean, obviously, if you are, you know, at a position, you know, where you're making enough to purchase, you know, this GPU, like $1,000 GPU with 1 week's worth of work, I kind of feel like that seems reasonable, and I think that's reasonably priced, because you're essentially buying a GPU that should last you 2 years, and that takes you about a week to get that. And then I did some more math. I was like, okay, so if it takes me a week, 40 hours to buy this GPU, what do I get out of that? And if you times that, you know, if you take that and you say, okay, so I'm gonna play 2 hours of games a day, which equaled out to be like 1,470 hours. So 1,470 hours over the next 2 years is the amount of enjoyment and what would you call that? That's the amount of entertainment that you're going to get from this hobby for spending that much money on it. Now, I'm not saying that GPUs aren't going to last only 2 years. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying that when you factor that in and you look at the cost of that, at the price of that, and you put yourself at that, because if you were at $7.50 an hour, okay, at a 40-hour week, that's $300. That puts you at a $300 GPU range. So that means you're essentially at the 50-60 range in terms of the GPU that you could essentially buy every 2 years. Like you could legit buy that. And the reason why I say that is because we're always listening to people complaining about games not being optimized, games being held back, all of this stuff. But if we were to start upgrading our GPUs every single year, then that would kind of, not only would it make probably GPUs cheaper because a lot more people will be buying them, but there is a way to afford this. There is a way. So for this GPU, across 104 months, if I was to save $10 out of my paychecks, $10. That's literally, I mean, you can literally do this on autopilot. You go to your bank and you open up another account and you tell them, hey, I just want this to every week right when I get paid, deduct $10 and put it in there and just never even think about it. And by the end of the 2 years, you have the money to buy your GPU, and that costs you what? A couple of coffees a week or whatever. So if you look at it that way, and the same goes for the $300, like for a $300 GPU, it's like $2.75 a week. $2.75 a week. You put that into an account, and like you're not going to miss $2.75. If you're making $15 an hour, that nets you a $600 GPU every 2 years. You can put that away, and it's like $6. You put the $6 away, and then in freaking 2 years, you have the money to upgrade your GPU every generation. And this is why I've come to this conclusion, okay? Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I have been through the 30 series, 40 series, and now I'm at the 50 series. And what I can tell you is that yes, every generation, my experience with PC gaming has gotten better. I get all the new features. I get every single thing that comes to it. I don't have to be salty or mad or miss out on anything. And then I get to take my old GPU, okay? And you can easily, at the end of this generation, probably turn around and sell that for half the value that you paid for it. Therefore, giving somebody else the ability to upgrade. And, you know, because like right now, I hear the complaints all the time from the other YouTubers that, oh man, GPU prices are so expensive and nobody can buy them. And they're always telling people to buy used GPUs. They're never telling you to buy the new ones. And I completely disagree with that. I think that you should, if you can afford it. If you're in a position to where you can do it, you should probably upgrade every generation and then sell your old card at a discount to somebody else in need that would like to be able to use that. And go off of your weekly income to decide what GPU is actually within your budget and right for you. Now, I say that because that way you can kind of know what class you're in, you know, like at $300 a week. If you're literally making $7.25 an hour or $7.50, yeah, you should absolutely ask for more money or find a new job. Nobody should be doing that. The average pay, I think, is right around, you know, in between $11 to $15 an hour. That pretty much puts you pretty close to a $600 GPU. And if you've looked at the pricing and you've looked at the power outcome for that, like the 5060 Ti right now is in between, gosh, what is it, like $480 up to freaking like $650. I've seen them like at $650. So you look at that and then you put yourself in the right category, and then you just upgrade to that same category. And if you start making more money, then you bump yourself up. You bump yourself up to a new generation of GPUs. It's not that these GPUs are not going to last as long as they used to. We're in a completely different era now. Like before, it was like rasterized power. You would just wait until you got a big enough upgrade to do that. Well, it's not like that anymore. AI, and I know I hate how you say that. AI gets more and more and more efficient with faster bandwidth, faster memory. AI gets faster, it gets better, and it's more potent. It does significantly better than any generation before it. Like when you heard Jensen come out and he's like, okay, 5070, power 4090, if you use AI. He wasn't lying. He's not lying. I was sitting here and I was playing today on the 5060. I got the 5060 back in there. I'm going to do you guys some videos tomorrow on that. But I was sitting there and I turned on Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm on the 1080p ultra wide, and I'm at like 200 frames a second with MFG 4X at freaking native resolution with gosh, what was I on? I think I was at like native AA or something, with MFG 4X with path tracing at 200 frames a second on that game using MFG. And the game felt good. It felt fun to play. And so I look at that and I'm like, okay, like this is incredible. Like I'm actually playing this game. It feels pretty good. It looks decent. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying this experience. And that's why I say, guys, if you can afford, well, if you take that advice and you put that little bit of money away, just have your bank automatically transfer that, then you can upgrade every generation, and then you can sell your old GPUs at half price when they're still worth more money. Especially at the first of the generation, people are more willing to pay a little bit more money for your old GPU. So not only will that help people that aren't in a position like you are to be able to afford new GPUs, or to be able to do that, or to be able to have the self-control to put money away long enough to do something like that, that will give you and them, I mean, you'll be helping your fellow PC gamers by doing that. And then you don't have to listen to the YouTubers telling you, oh man, that's not a good deal. You can just see for yourself every damn generation. Is it good enough? Instead of having to worry about some dude getting rich off of you, and stoking your anger and your frustration and your fears, and playing with your emotions about products that you know you want. Like every single one of us is like, yeah, I would absolutely love to have the newest technology every generation. I mean, obviously, if you didn't, you wouldn't be watching new videos to find out if it's better or not. Like you wouldn't consistently have FOMO all the time if you didn't always feel like, oh man, my $1,000 GPU is obsolete now because the new one came out and now it's got MFG 8X. You'll be able to play it and you'll be able to use it all on your own. Like you don't have to. That's why I get so frustrated with these other guys. It's like they come out here and they just bash the prices, but if you really look at it, the pricing is fair. Okay, the pricing is very fair. I've got a 5060 8 gig, and that's like a $300 GPU, $299. That literally puts it at the class of like the $750 an hour, $300 a week, $300 1 week for. I mean, they used to tell you that you spend like what, 3 months of salary on a freaking wedding ring, bruh. I'm saying spend 1 week of your freaking earnings on a GPU. You've got 103 weeks to make that. Say if you're making, what is it, like, I think it was. I think just take like $25 an hour, and you say it's like $1,000 a week or something. That's like 104 grand between 2 years that you're spending 1,000 of that on the GPU. That's going to give you 1,470 hours if you only play 2 hours a day of entertainment. I think that is a fair price for entertainment. That's just me. Like most of us go to work and then spend the rest of our time trying to entertain ourselves on whatever we can anyway. So that's what I'm saying. That way you guys don't have to sit and worry about things. That way you can be proactive and start making sure that, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And if you want to up or lower your GPU budget, you're always welcome to do that. The only thing that I worry about is the new features, because AI is pretty prominent now. And obviously both AMD and NVIDIA are really going to start, Intel too, are going to start taking advantage of that to try to boost the performance of these GPUs. And you know, guys, with this generation, being able to utilize the features and stuff, and be able to like really pump out like really good performance at 4K at 1080p, like it's incredible, especially if you have a high refresh rate monitor, man. I think that I really, maybe that's what it is, guys. Maybe when I was like trying to play, you know, on those other GPUs, I had 165 hertz refresh rate. Maybe that was it. But now that I'm pushing 240 to 480, stuff like that. Like multi-frame rate MFG 4X and other features really do help. They really do. I mean, I'm just like, wow, that is incredible how smooth the experience gets while utilizing those freaking features. So yeah, guys, I'm going to get you guys some Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 tomorrow. I'm going to get you guys some freaking Black Ops freaking 6 content, stuff like that. But we're going to do it. And I want you guys to see that. And I just wanted to make this video so that you guys can understand that, like, look, things are possible. And if we want prices to go down, that's the way to do it. If when people buy more, then the prices get lower. I don't know if that works with chips, though. I don't know. Because they're already at a point where Microsoft or AMD and NVIDIA can sell the chips way more for the AI bros. So we got to let them know that we still care. And for everybody that's holding on to old GPUs and getting mad at developers that the games don't play right, yeah, guys, it's time to start upgrading a little bit more frequently than you do. And, you know, I gotta say this, okay? I gotta say this. Going from the 7900 XTX to a 9070 XT, which is 60 CUs down from 96, a 256-bit bus down from a 384-bit bus, 24 gigs of VRAM or 16 gigs of VRAM down from 24 gigs of VRAM, and the card still, it legitimately looks better with FSR4 and outperforms the 7900 XTX on a lot of things. It is just a more efficient, it runs cooler, it's quieter. There's just so much improvement from generation to generation. The RDNA 4 is significantly more performant than RDNA 3. And you look at that and you're able to like come down in price, you're able to get the best card in 9070 XT. You're able to still play at a comfortable level. You're getting better features. You're able to get, and the biggest thing, and that was the whole thing. That was the thing that like legitimately put me on this path. I reached out to somebody in the community today and I asked them, I was like, hey man, are you really still happy with your 9070 XT? Because they switched from the 7900 XTX down to the 9070 XT, and we were kind of talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, man. And then it clicked. I'm like, yeah, dude, the AI, I know that everybody tries to, it's a buzzword, whatever, but it really does work. It really does work, and it makes these significantly more performant. AMD researchers have found a way to take trees and render them at like 56 kilobytes, okay? As opposed to having to run them on like VRAM, it would have been like, gosh, I don't know what they said. It was like 64 gigabytes of VRAM or something. Like it was a ridiculous amount of VRAM to run those trees, and they found a way, researching, to do it with 54 kilobytes. Like that's nothing, man. Talk about neural rendering, compression or whatever. Like that is ridiculous. Okay, and AI has helped paving the way for this. So yes, our GPUs are going to get more performant, but you're going to want the best of the best that you can have as we go forward. So maybe you upgrade every generation, maybe you upgrade every other generation. But at the end of the day, I find this extremely fascinating, especially with the GPU market, man. You guys can always sell these and get at least half your money back. Sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. But yeah, like going forward, guys, I think that GPUs, see, everybody else wants to stay stuck in the past. Not me, man. I think that AI, absolutely, people that use AI are gonna succeed. People that don't use AI are gonna freaking, yeah, they're gonna hate life, man. They're gonna hate life, man. This is cool. I recommend upgrading every generation if you can afford it. If you can't, if it's gonna put like a financial strain on you, don't do it. But you know, if you take that advice and you save that little bit of money every week, just have your bank automatically put it into a side account for you, so you don't even see it. Like you don't even notice it. It's just boom. It's just automatically doing it. And then by the end of the 2 years, when you're ready to buy your new GPU, you're not sweating it. You got your money. You're ready to go, and you'll be able to upgrade, and then you'll be able to sell the other GPU and take your wife out, take your kids out, do something with that extra money. Put it back in your bank to save it towards your next GPU purchase. Whatever you got to do, man. I think that is the smartest way. That gives you the opportunity to consistently have the top of the line equipment in your PC, as well as giving somebody else the opportunity to be able to utilize what you had before. And it gives you that like sense of like, oh my gosh, like refresh. And with hardware and PC and stuff like that, like I kind of see that as being a good thing. Hardware seems to get stagnant pretty quickly. I don't know if these newer GPUs are going to get stagnant as fast. I do think that these here are going to last longer because of the new features, but at the same time, the new cards are going to have faster AI cores. They're going to have more of them. They're going to have more memory. It's going to be better. So yeah, guys, don't sit around don't grow too attached to like the hardware that you got anymore, because AI is going to take off and it's going to keep going faster and faster and faster. So I don't know, man. You guys want to be at the bleeding edge. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Froggy out.